Is Titans GM Ran Carthon going after Malik Nabers now? Well, we got some reports that the Titans could be interested in the LSU wide receiver. And so today, we're going to talk about every single one of those on Titans Today. We really appreciate y'all watching. I'm your host, Jace Andrews. And, well, I got some unfortunate news because before we get into this, I need your help, man. The bosses are on my butt this week for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I just keep getting messages, and they're not the happy kind. So they said we need to get 20 subscribers on this video or else. I don't know about you. I don't know what the or else is. I don't want to know what the or else is. Last guy that had the or else, I didn't see him for 2 weeks. So please save me. All right, let's talk about this Titan situation because the Titans are in big need of offensive linemen, of course, but the wide receiver position is still one that the Titans need to prioritize. I know that DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley are great, but behind them, I don't trust Treylon Burks a lot. I like Nick Westbrook-Ikine, but I think there needs to be a very solid wide receiver 3 because I feel like we go from clear wide receiver 1, clear wide receiver 2, to then I don't know what the heck is going on after that. Well, Malik Nabers could be the solve of all of that. Cameron Wolfe talked about this a couple days prior, saying LSU star wide receiver Malik Nabers had a dinner with the Giants last night. Plus, he met with the Patriots, Titans, Jets, and Jaguars yesterday ahead of today's pro day. Per sources, he will meet with Cardinals post-workout day. Now, obviously, this was a couple days prior, and so Nabers' pro day was yesterday. It has passed, and Ran Carthon was in attendance with several other GMs. Obviously, Brian Thomas Jr. was working out there, another LSU wide receiver, Jayden Daniels, a couple of key names to talk about, but overall, Nabers, I have to think, was the main guy. That being said, it's nice to go out there and kind of just see. I think Ran Carthon is doing his due diligence because, in my opinion, there is a way where some of these wide receivers, maybe one of them ends up with the Titans. I'll tell you which one and how exactly either of them could work out here momentarily, but just getting to see Jayden Daniels as well, Maason Smith, a very, very good defensive tackle that could potentially be in the lookout for. Obviously, just got to make sure you do your work on every single player. There's hopefully not a situation where the Titans get into one that they're not thinking about drafting a guy and they haven't done any research on him. Let's go back to a couple other drafts where people didn't do the research on Patrick Mahomes. Now we have to deal with him every year. That's great. All right, Malik Nabers. He is actually a stud and a half. Dude had 1,500 yards last year and 13 games, obviously playing with Heisman-winning quarterback Jayden Daniels. 14 touchdowns, 5 drops. Not that much. 17.6 on the average. You know me, I'm an average guy. 17.6 is more than acceptable. I think the statement that I should say here is he is a great option if Alt is off the board. I think this remains to be the trend that Alt is the pick. However, in the past month or so, Joe Alt has become more of a hot commodity. You go back to when the season ended, the Titans were in clear path to get Joe Alt because he was supposed to be drafted around that area. Now, there's projections with him to be taken by the Giants, by the Chargers. There's a couple different scenarios where he could end up going to the 5 or 6 slot in the draft rather than falling to 7 with the Titans. And so, Nabers, well, guess what? He is a perfect option at 7, especially if Alt is not there. Maybe I am the only person who thinks this, though. Let me know in the comment section if you agree. Do you like Nabers if Alt isn't there at pick number 7? Type Y for yes or type in for no. Let us know down in the comment section because I'm fiending for your response. Let's talk about this wide receiver depth chart because I mentioned at the top of the show, but I think it really speaks dividends when you look at each and every single depth piece. DeAndre Hopkins is great. Clear wide receiver 1, like I said. Calvin Ridley, clear wide receiver number 2, in my opinion. Then I have question marks. Treylon Burks, I guess, could be a wide receiver 3. I don't know. Nick Westbrook-Ikine has been great at times and other times struggled. Kyle Phillips had some games where he was great. Other games that I thought, does this dude have hands? There's just a couple of question marks past the top 2. Now, let's say Joe Alt is there at 7, though, because obviously the wide receiver position is still going to need to be help if they draft Joe Alt. That doesn't just end because Joe Alt was taken. But the Titans, well, they want to go grab a different LSU wide receiver. You heard me talk about his name a couple of months ago. I'm going to break it all down of how it could work in a potential trade the Tennessee Titans could make in the NFL draft. Before that, Game Time is hooking us up $20 off your first purchase with the code CHATSPORTS, and they've got special deals like flash deals, zone deals, and everything to your next big event. It's not just sports. They've got comedy, theater, concerts, everything that you could think of events in your area. Game Time has you covered, and they know that you shouldn't have to worry about buying your next ticket to the next big event. Guess what? Game Time is super simple, super easy, and super quick, and is honestly the only place I go for my ticketing needs this way because there's no hassle. I get my tickets in less than 2 clicks. I used it literally just 3 days ago to go to a baseball game. Obviously, the MLB officially in swing with opening day today, but minor league baseball, the Nashville Sounds, they open up tomorrow. So you can go check them out. And if you use the code CHATSPORTS to get $20 off your first purchase, that's basically an entire ticket free. You're not going to beat that deal. And that's just one of many killer last minute deals they have. All in prices, they've got views from your seat, and with their best price guarantee, they're going to take the guesswork out of buying tickets. So here's what you're going to do. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets at the lowest price guarantee. Let's talk trade, because I think this could work, and it could get you a potential LSU or a different wide receiver, whatever you call it. Titans trade up in the first round to get back into it after their 7th overall pick, taking Joe Alt in theory. And they get back in by trading the Rams their 2nd round pick this year and their 2nd round pick next year. And I know that's somewhat of a pretty penny to give up, but at the same time, you're getting back into a first round that has some stellar wide receiver options, and honestly is one of the better drafts I have seen in quite some time, to be quite frank with you. Whereas next year, I'm not as high on those draft prospects. Obviously, I know that we didn't expect Jayden Daniels to be a top 3 quarterback at this time last year, so there will be people that pop up. But still, I think this is a tremendous trade in my book. Would you make the trade, though? Let me know in the comment section if you are doing this or if you are passing on it. If you're thinking trade, yes, I need to do this, type T for trade. Or if you're thinking, Jace, no, let's not do that, let's type P for pass. Get down there in the comment section and let me know. I promise you I'm going to be looking, so you better get in there and type T or P. All right, so we've made the trade. That's all in the books. And with the 19th pick, the Titans select Brian Thomas Jr. from Walker, Louisiana, and a guy who was pretty incredible at LSU. Now, I'm not going to say he was Malik Nabers, but 1,100 yards this past year is pretty dang good, and he was wide receiver number 2 behind Malik. And here's my opinion, and I think this can be widely agreed upon. In a lot of LSU's wide receiver classes, it's not wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2. It's wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 1.5. Brian Thomas Jr. was the wide receiver 1.5. Because you talk about Malik Nabers stats, they were great. But Brian Thomas Jr. stats, certainly not too shabby. 1,100 yards, 68 receptions, an average sitting there, nice and pretty like I like it, 17 touchdowns, and then, again, 5 drops, which is important. I mean, drops are something that I do not want to have to deal with, and he certainly did not have that. Plus, he was a major deep threat for Jayden Daniels this past season. Obviously, throughout his college career, though, this guy was putting up pretty decent stats, nothing out of the ordinary, kind of some lower levels in 2021 and 2022, but then broke onto the scene. And talking to some of the reporters and news experts and everything on Brian Thomas Jr. from Louisiana, everybody expected him to break out like he did this past season, but they didn't know when it would come. And it finally did this year, obviously finishing his college career with 24 touchdowns because he had 17 this past year. Adding Alt and then getting Brian Thomas Jr. would be amazing. You fix 2 problems in the first round. I don't care that you don't have a 2nd round pick this year or next year. I don't really care. I think overall, this is more important. You have to go in there and get a wide receiver that is going to help out your depth chart. On top of which, you get Alt in this situation. I know everybody wants Alt, and that's great, and I agree. But I also feel like wide receiver is such an important thing that we cannot sit here and just let it pass by. You have to go after it. And this is, once again, I've talked about it all season. Ran Carthon has gone in. He has attacked it. He has gone hitting it at the head, and I have loved what he's done. This would be another move that would just show us once again, Ran Carthon is all in on this season. Let's talk about the top Titans draft prospects, or targets rather, because maybe Malik Nabers isn't there at 7. Maybe the draft order goes a little bit different how we expected. Maybe 1, 2, and 3 are quarterbacks, but then 4, 5, and 6 are Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Nabers, and Joe Alt. Well, you still got Brock Bowers who's available. You could trade back, maybe getting Olu Fashanu. Odunze is still a very good option. I mean, there is a potential where everybody that you would like is not there. And so, like I said earlier in the show, Ran Carthon has done a good job about it and doing his due diligence and making sure that each and every guy that the Titans could have a chance, a possibility of drafting, he has gone in and done the research with them. All I can say is, I know as a Titans fan, I'm expecting hoping for a wide receiver, but as an NFL fan, the first round is sure to be interesting, which I'm excited about. I don't know about you, but it's kind of fun to have a really, really intriguing draft. Last year was one of the most fun drafts I think I've ever gotten to witness. And fun fact, I was actually at the draft in Kansas City. It was really, really fun. And the trades, everything happening all at one time, it's felt so much. And it's going to be a fun one. Let's talk cap space real quick, though, because maybe some of these issues can be solved not just in the draft, but also with free agents that are still left to be signed. After all the signings and the dust settled, they have about $24.9 million left to spend. Some of that will need to be used on a draft class, somewhere around the $10 to $13 million range, just kind of depends. But you should have money left either way. Can they still sign someone? Is there someone available that makes sense? And what are they going to do? Will they sign somebody, or is it time to finally just say, hey, we're going to hold tight, no reason to worry, let's just stay here? Well, let's take a look at the top free agents still left on the board. Justin Simmons, I would love to have in Tennessee. I think that would be perfect fit for a lot of different reasons. I don't think the cornerbacks of Stephon Gilmore and Xavier Howard are needed at this point. Quandre Diggs and Julian Blackmon, again, safeties are something that I think would be a very good addition, and it's something that you cannot help in the draft, at least in my opinion. I mean, you can get somebody, but the draft class for safeties this year is not good. I think Quandre Diggs and Justin Simmons outweigh anybody in the draft by tenfold. But we will have to wait and see. Ran Carthon has been a man of his word all offseason in terms of making moves, being able to continuously get in and say, we're spending money this year, I'm putting it on the floor, and he did it. He came out here and said, I got some cojones, and I'm going to show them off, and he has certainly done that. Calvin Ridley, getting L'Jarius Sneed, it's been an absolute great offseason. I'm excited for everything happening in Nashville, and if you are too, hit that subscribe button and join us here on Titans Today. Titans Today, excuse me, because we've been having a really fun time this offseason, and if you want to have a fun time like this, hit that subscribe button. Plus, I need 20. I don't want to be freaking lost for 2 weeks. So please hit that subscribe button. YouTube.com/Titans Today. We really appreciate you. And for now, tighten up and peace out.